You know, you've probably never thought about this before, right? Your home, that place where you're supposed to feel safe, where you kick off your shoes and breathe easy. It's actually been waging a silent war against your body. And I'm not being dramatic here. While you're obsessing over hitting the gym or checking every label at the supermarket, there's something sinister lurking right under your nose, disguised as completely ordinary stuff. Today, I'm gonna pull back the curtain on 8 invisible dangers that contaminating your body, messing with your hormones, and honestly, they might be aging you faster than you think. These aren't rare things either. They're probably in your kitchen right now. So buckle up, 'cause what you're about to learn, it's gonna change the way you live forever. Before we dive into that sneaky list, you gotta understand what's really going on behind the scenes. There's this scientific term, endocrine disruptors, and here's the thing. These aren't just fancy words doctors throw around. They're chemical compounds that basically impersonate your natural hormones, hijacking your body's most important systems. Picture this as your hormones getting catfished, you know? They're getting fooled left and right. The World Health Organization's been sounding the alarm for years, 'cause these disruptors are literally reshaping how our bodies work, triggering obesity, diabetes, heart disease, the whole 9 yards. And the scariest part? Your body doesn't even know it's under attack. That's precisely why we gotta talk about what these dangers actually are and where they're hiding. Let's kick this off with something that's in practically every single household. Those plastic containers stacked in your cabinet? Yeah, those ones. Even when they're labeled BPA-free. And I gotta be honest with you, that label's become a marketing dream more than anything else. They're still sneaking phthalates and alternative bisphenol into your system when you heat them up. These chemicals are basically impersonating estrogen, which means your metabolism gets completely thrown off balance. Think of it like your metabolic switch being stuck in the store everything is fat position. Research shows that folks with high phthalate levels aren't just gaining weight. They're experiencing serious metabolic dysfunction. The real kicker though, that fat doesn't just go anywhere. It tends to settle right around your belly, which is the most dangerous spot for your cardiovascular system. Now here's something that's been hiding in plain sight for decades, and it's way more sinister than people realize. Antibacterial soaps containing triclosan. You've probably been using this stuff your whole life without even knowing it was there. This compound does something absolutely wild to your thyroid hormones and can actually mess with your heart's rhythm. We're talking real cardiovascular damage here. Studies on animals have shown that chronic exposure can trigger arrhythmias and even inflammation of the heart muscle itself. That's myocarditis, and trust me, that's not something you want messing with your most vital organ. On top of that, triclosan breeds antibiotic-resistant bacteria, which basically means infections become harder to treat and more dangerous. The FDA already banned it, but here's the thing. Plain old soap and water? It works just as effectively, and all you gotta do is wash for 20 seconds, getting between those fingers properly. But if you think that's the only chemical creeping into your system through your daily routine, wait till you hear what's floating around in the air. Okay, so if a simple bar of soap's causing problems, imagine what happens with something you're literally breathing in all day long without even thinking about it. Air fresheners, those plug-in things, even scented sprays, they're loaded with phthalates that sneak into your bloodstream through your lungs, way faster than through your skin. These chemicals link up with your hormone receptors and trigger chronic inflammation throughout your entire body. We're seeing connections to asthma, metabolic syndrome, accelerated weight gain. The list goes on. Your lungs are basically highways straight to your bloodstream, so anything you're breathing gets express delivery to your whole system. Instead, here's what actually works. Crack open those windows, get some real air flowing, use pure essential oils if you want that scent, or better yet, get some plants that naturally purify the air. They look nice too, which is a win-win situation. But your protection can't just stop at what you breathe. 'Cause the next danger is something you're literally wrapping yourself in. Picture your favorite jacket hanging in the closet, freshly dry cleaned, smelling crisp and clean. Looks innocent enough, right? Wrong. That seemingly harmless cleaning process involves a solvent called perchloroethylene. We call it PERC. And this stuff is classified as probably carcinogenic by major health organizations. It absorbs through your skin, you inhale the fumes, and it goes straight for your liver, kidneys, and central nervous system. But here's where it gets really concerning. Studies are linking chronic perc exposure to a significantly higher risk of Parkinson's disease. Yeah, we're talking about potential neurodegenerative damage from something most of us do multiple times a year without questioning it. When you pick up your dry cleaning, take off that plastic covering immediately. Let those clothes breathe in fresh air before bringing them into your home. Speaking of things we bring into our homes without thinking, there's one appliance that's probably sitting right next to your bed, and it might be doing more harm than good. Your bedroom humidifier. You got one to help you breathe better, right? That stagnant water sitting in the reservoir? It's basically a luxury resort for bacteria like Legionella and fungi like Aspergillus. You're literally aerosolizing these pathogens into your lungs every single day. For people with existing heart conditions, this isn't just uncomfortable. It's genuinely dangerous. We're talking potential respiratory infections that could seriously complicate or even worsen heart failure. Here's the non-negotiable rule. Change that water every single day, clean it with vinegar or regular soap and water at minimum, and use hypochlorite cleaner every couple days just to be thorough. When you're not using it, keep it dry and stored properly. This level of attention seems like overkill until you realize you're literally inhaling what you're ignoring. But the risks aren't just floating around in moisture. Some dangers feel cozy and warm. There's something about a lit candle that makes people feel relaxed, right? It's supposed to be calming, peaceful, maybe a little bit romantic. But those paraffin candles you're burning? They're releasing benzene, toluene, and formaldehyde, compounds that increase inflammation directly in your arteries. Imagine these toxins basically coating the inside of your blood vessels, creating conditions that make plaque accumulation way more likely. We're talking about your carotid arteries, your coronary arteries, the literal highways of your cardiovascular system getting damaged slowly, day after day. Switch to natural wax candles instead and always keep your space ventilated when you've got anything burning. But burning isn't the only way chemicals get absorbed directly into your body at lightning speed. Some of the most dangerous exposures happen in places where you'd never expect them. Here's something absolutely mind-blowing that nobody talks about. Those receipts they hand you at the register? That thermal paper is coated with BPA. Yes, the exact same compound we've been worried about for years. The difference is, BPA absorbs through your skin almost instantaneously when it's in contact with that thermal paper. We're not talking about absorption after hours or days. We're talking seconds. Elevated BPA levels are directly linked to hypertension, type 2 diabetes, and that dangerous abdominal obesity we talked about earlier. Start refusing receipts or asking for the digital version instead. If you absolutely need to keep a physical copy, use gloves when handling that paper and wash your hands immediately afterward. It seems like a tiny thing, but these small exposures add up over weeks and months and years. But even all of this, every single thing we've covered so far, it pales in comparison to what I'm about to tell you about. This is the big one. This is where the real danger lives. Those non-stick pans and cookware you've probably been using for years? When they get scratched, when they get overheated, they release PFOA and PFAS. These are called forever chemicals for a reason. They literally accumulate in your body for decades and never break down. We're talking about connections to hypothyroidism, liver damage, pancreatic cancer. And if you're wondering why we're seeing increased cancer risk in younger people, this is a big part of that equation. Replace any damaged non-stick cookware immediately, avoid high-heat cooking, and transition to stainless steel, cast iron, or ceramic cookware instead. Here's what you need to understand. This isn't about living in fear or becoming paranoid about every single object in your home. This is about making informed choices, making simple daily swaps that actually mean something. The American Heart Association has done research showing that these kinds of everyday changes can reduce your risk of heart problems by up to 15% over just 10 years. 15%. That's significant. That's the difference between years of quality life and years spent managing disease. So start today. Pick one or two of these changes and implement them this week. Your body will thank you for the rest of your life.